So I'm looking to start my business, but I don't know what niche to pick. That is the most common question that I get in my DMs, that I get in my YouTube comments. And in today's video, I will be breaking down what are the best niches that you should sell to if you are starting your own lead generation agency, how you could do research, and how you determine what is the best niche for you. All right. So in today's training, we will be talking about the best lead generation niches for 2025. And by the end of today's training, you will be able to go out and pick the best niche for your own lead generation agency. So here are the 6 things that we will be talking about in today's video. The first is why choosing the right niche actually matters. Number 2 is understanding your own strength and experiences. Number 3 is how to brainstorm broad niche ideas. Number 4, how to narrow down your niche options. Number 5, how to actually do market research. And number 6, how do you actually choose your winning niche? And again, right, the overall goal of this training is so you can go out, weigh your options, and figure out what is the best niche to sell your own lead generation services to. I get this question all the time, which is why I'm putting together this training right now. So the first thing I wanted to chat about is why is choosing the right niche, why does that actually matter? Well, picking your niche is essentially picking the group of businesses that you will target, that you are choosing to work with, and who you're choosing to offer your lead generation services to. And trust me, picking the right one is super important because the one that you pick will change and make a massive difference of how easy or hard it is to actually sign clients, right? So picking the right niche will make finding clients much easier, and who doesn't want that? It will affect how much you can actually charge. So, whether you're charging $500, $1,000, $3,000, picking the right niche will kind of dictate that. And it will also influence how fast your own business, how fast your own agency can actually grow so that you can actually scale. But don't stress too much because, again, it's very important to realize and very important to understand that there's no such thing as a perfect niche that just works for every single person. Again, every single person is different. Their situation is different. And again, by the end of this training, you will have much better clarity and you will understand which niche is the best for you. Keyword, for you. And the trick is to find one that, again, just aligns with you, your background, and what the market actually needs and what the market actually wants. So are you ready? Cool. So let's walk through how to find the ideal niche step by step. So the very first step in step 1 is to understand your own strength and understand your own experiences. Because the easiest way to pick a niche is to start with what you already know. So what you want to do is just spend 5 minutes and to think about your skills, think about your experiences, and think about your interests, and use a paper and pen, open up a blank Google Doc, and really think about these things in detail. You can't skip these steps because if you do, you're just going to pick a random niche that doesn't really align with what you are good at, and you're just going to end up working way harder than you need to for worse results, basically, right? So the very first thing you want to think about, the very first thing you want to consider is I want you to look at your past work and your past education and experiences. So have you ever wondered, or have you ever worked in a particular industry or studied something specific, whether that was in college or university or even high school? These experiences are absolutely golden because they give you a head start. You are already familiar with how these businesses operate. So as an example, if you have sales experience, if you've worked in sales and you understand how sales teams work, what you could do is you could target sales related businesses, like for example, B2B software companies or recruitment agencies, because those are very sales heavy type of businesses. And that's if you have sales experience. Or if you have marketing experience or you have a marketing background, maybe you tried starting a marketing agency a few years ago, or you worked at a marketing agency, or you studied marketing in school, then what you should do is maybe consider working with marketing businesses. So for example, marketing agencies, or if you have a technical background. So for example, maybe you worked in an IT related job, IT support, you're an engineer, you're a developer, that type of stuff, then maybe you could target tech companies or IT service providers. So what you want to do is just really think about your experiences. And again, every single person, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're watching this training, you will have some form of previous work or previous education experiences that you could relate into helping you pick a niche. The second thing you want to think about is kind of your hobbies and your interests. So really just ask yourself, what do you enjoy doing in your free time? Because believe it or not, your hobbies can actually help you choose a niche as well. And if you're picking something or you're picking a niche that is in the same kind of general idea as your hobbies and your interests, you will make the process just way more fun because you actually enjoy it. So as an example, if you're just really into technology, right? You watch all of the giant YouTube like tech YouTubers on YouTube, like MKBHD and Box Therapy, those type of people, then maybe you could work with tech companies and think about how you could incorporate that hobby into your actual niche, right? If you're really into AI and investigating it and learning everything there is about AI and ChatGPT and all of those things, maybe you could work with AI companies. So that's kind of what you want to do. And the third thing you want to do as you are thinking about all of your skills, experiences, hobbies is make a list of all of your skills, right? So think about both your hard and your soft skills. So for example, if you have hard skills such as building websites, because you've built websites for previous businesses that maybe you've tried before, or you studied coding in school, like software engineering, or you worked a coding job, or you're really strong in terms of communication, like written and verbal communication, or maybe persuasion, like sales, these are all skills that will help you point you in the right direction in terms of picking your niche. So some more examples to really nail this point home. If you're a great communicator or you tried copywriting before, then you'd probably crush it in industries like marketing or recruitment because again, they're very sales and marketing heavy. Or if you are good at coding or website development, then you could target software companies or website development agencies as well. So that's kind of what I mean by thinking about your skills, your hobbies, and your experiences. Now, step 2 in the process is brainstorming broad niche ideas. So what you've done in the previous step is you thought about your strengths, but let's actually brainstorm some broad business categories, also known as niches. And what this should be is it should be B2B, meaning you are selling your services. You're approaching businesses that sell their other services, sell the products or services to other businesses. So it can't be a business that sells to consumers. So for example, it can't be realtors or real estate agents who work with regular people to buy and sell houses. It can't be gyms who work with regular people and sell gym memberships. Those are B2C. You need B2B. So businesses that sell their services to other businesses. There are over 3 million B2B businesses in the US alone. So finding B2B businesses actually is really, really easy. And in many cases might actually be easier than B2C. So here are some basic brainstorming rules for picking some niches. The first is the niche to be broad. It needs to be broad enough to give you a lot of potential clients in terms of sheer number, in terms of a sheer volume. And try not to limit yourself to something that's very, very niche down. So for example, what I mean by that as an example might be rather than picking paid ad agencies, so only working with marketing agencies that sell Facebook ads or Google ads or YouTube ads, rather than picking that sub niche of ad agencies, what you could do is target all marketing agencies as a general bucket. That's what you want to do. Now, the second brainstorming rule is the niche must be able to communicate via email or phone frequently. So that, because obviously if you're selling cold email services and you're emailing these businesses to actually sell your services, you're reaching over cold email. So if the businesses that you're reaching out to don't even check their emails, then it's it's kind of like an uphill battle in terms of what you want to do. So for example, a lot of local businesses, they probably don't really check their emails as common as online businesses, as an example. That's just an example just to throw some ideas out there, but that's kind of what I mean. And the third point is the niche must be B2B. I kind of covered this already, but again, they need to be selling to other businesses. So for example, marketing agencies, they sell marketing services to other businesses. Or software companies, they help other businesses build and design software. That's examples of B2B. And here are actually some examples of broad B2B niches that work really well for lead generation. And I've actually sold to every single one of these niches, which is why I listed them down. We have marketing agencies, we have software companies, we have IT services, we have recruitment agencies, we have corporate training companies, and we have consulting firms. There's actually a lot more in terms of this list, but I actually wanted just to list out the ones that I specifically had experiences with, just to give you some more ideas, because if I've done it, then it clearly works. I run my own lead generation agency. I sell cold email lead gen services to all of these niches, and it just works really, really well. So what I want you to do right now as an action step is I want you to write down 3 to 5 niches that just initially catches your eye. Don't think too much about it as you are looking at even this list I'm providing. Which ones stand out to you the most? Just naturally, subconsciously, pick those 3 to 5 and just get started with your research. And as we go through this process over the next few steps, we're gonna end up with one specific niche, but just pick 3 or 5 that just stands out to you initially. Now, step 3 is to really narrow down your niche options. So now that you've brainstormed a few ideas, you have, a list of 3 to 5 just general niches that kind of just stands out to you. it's actually time to do more research into these niches and to really narrow that down. And here's how to evaluate which niches are winners. And I got this image from Alex Hormozi's book. And it says that whenever you're selling any type of service, there are really 4 things you want to keep in mind. You really need to understand their pain points and problems. You understand their purchasing power. You understand how easy or hard it is to target these businesses. And you have to understand if that niche, that industry is growing or shrinking. And I'm going to expand into a little bit more detail into each of these 4 points. So the very first thing is market demand. It's very, very important to understand, is there actually money in this niche, whatever niche that you're picking? Is there money in that niche? Because you need to be targeting businesses that are making good amounts of money and actually needs more clients and needs more customers. And it's very easy to find this information by just searching for that niche on Google or on YouTube and researching it and really answering these 3 questions. The first is, are there a lot of businesses in this niche? This should be pretty easy and pretty obvious to understand. The second one is, do these businesses actually make good money? Because there's a lot of businesses that don't actually make money, right? They sell their services for like $200, and in a good month, they might make $5,000 in a single month, which is really just not enough. They're not making enough money to be paying you money for cold email lead generation services. The third question is this niche growing or shrinking? So inside even Alex Hormozi's book, he uses the example of the newspaper industry, right? It's no secret that the newspaper industry is actually shrinking with the development of the internet, Google News, Yahoo News, all of these different news sources, Instagram, right, where a lot of people actually get the news from. People just aren't buying newspapers as much as they were 50 years ago. So that's an example of an industry that is shrinking. These are things that you really, really want to understand. You need to understand in order to get really great results. The next thing you want to understand is competition. And here is kind of something that a lot of people really don't understand that well. Because you have to realize that if there are other lead generation agencies, other people, basically competitors of yours, who are selling the same services to a niche, then that's usually a good sign. It's not a bad sign. It's a good sign because it means that there's money to be made. Because competition isn't necessarily bad. But what you need to do is you just need to find your own way to actually stand out. You need to differentiate yourself from, you kind of need to position your services as different from what everyone else is already doing inside this niche. But you have to understand again, right? If you find a random niche, let's say truck drivers, right? This is just an example. I'm not saying truck driving is a bad niche, but let's say you pick truck driving and you do your research and you can't find any lead generation agencies that work with truck driving companies, then that might be a sign that maybe the niche just isn't that good because there's no competition there. But on the other hand, I think there's an example further down this video, but if you're, if wherever city you're located or wherever you live, if there's a lot of sushi restaurants, that's a good sign that people just want sushi in that specific area. Otherwise, there wouldn't be as many sushi restaurants as there are. So as an example, to really not, tie this point home, marketing agencies is a very popular niche, but that should tell you that there's a ton of money to be made by working with them. Software companies or software as a service SaaS companies is another really popular niche for lead generation agencies. There's tons of lead generation agencies that work with SaaS, but that is a good sign. And again, right, think about it like this. The reason why that there are infinite amounts of sushi restaurants is because there's a ton of money to be made there. So starting a sushi restaurant, sure, that might be very competitive because you turn around the corner and you see another sushi restaurant, but there's a reason why there's just so many of them there, because there's just demand and the supply is meeting the demand. So that's a very important point to understand. And finally, the third point is you need to make sure that the niche that you are researching is actually easy to contact, because you want to work with businesses that are easy to reach through email, through LinkedIn, or through phone calls. Because some businesses, such as retail stores or local tradespeople, they might not be online much. They don't have an online presence, so they're just very, very hard to target. And if you do decide to work with those niches, you're just making it harder than it needs to, really. Now, the next step in the process is step 4, which is actually conducting market research. And a lot of people, they actually skip this step, but this is the most important step towards actually seeing good results and picking the best niche for your own lead generation agency. A lot of people are very lazy and they just skip the step. They find another guy and just blindly copy that guy's niche. And here's why whenever you copy someone's niche, it'll just never work. It's because you skip this entire process on market research. Because once you pick a few niches that look promising, you need to do some research to make sure you actually understand them well. Because the name of the game is relevancy. And if you don't pick a niche and you're not able to speak directly to that person or that group of people, then it's obviously not gonna work. Whether you're running ads or you're doing cold emails or even cold calling, if you're not using their language, talking about things they care about, it's just not going to work. So when you're doing research, you need to understand how these businesses actually work as a business model. If you're working with recruitment agencies, how do recruitment agencies get paid? How do they make money? What are their common challenges and pain points, right? Are they dealing with slow lead flow? Do they face high customer acquisition costs? What does that specifically look like? And the more specific you can get, the better. And you also need to understand, what does their sales process look like right now? Do they typically rely on referrals and word of mouth? Recruitment agencies, they rely very heavily on word of mouth and referrals. Do they rely on cold calling and outbound? Do they rely on paid ads? You need to understand this, and every niche is a little bit different in terms of the answers to each of these 3 questions. And how do you actually do market research? Well, there's really 3 great resources that you can use. The first is watch YouTube videos to actually learn about the businesses that you're trying to reach out to. So for example, if you want to work with recruitment agencies, watch a few YouTube videos on how to start a recruitment agency. Or if you're working with software companies, how do SaaS companies actually generate leads? How do SaaS companies get paid? The next resource is to join Facebook groups and communities of people with your niche. And no matter what niche you pick, there will always be a community on the internet that will help you do research. So it might not even be on Facebook. It might be in school groups. It might be on Reddit. It might be on Twitter communities. It doesn't really matter. The point is you need to be in a community of the people that you're actually selling to. And that's the only way to get, actual information, boots on the ground type of data on what these people care about and what they're struggling with, and give you all the information that you need in order to craft hyper relevant messaging for these people. And the third one is to check out your competitors online. So for example, if you're working with marketing agencies, find another lead generation agency that works with marketing agencies. Go to the website, go watch the video sales letters, do all of the research that you can on these people, on your competitors, and see what type of services they offer, right? Are there gaps that you could fill? Is the service they're selling, do you feel like that's something you can do as well? That's how you want to do it. And in a second, I'm just going to show you exactly how to actually do research inside your niche by following all of these 3 points. So how do you actually conduct research? And again, this isn't a process where you need to spend 3 days doing research. This is a process where you're able to do it within an hour or 2 max. And what you want to do as a first step is, depending on the industry that you choose, go on YouTube and watch how to actually build that type of business. And the reason why you want to watch these videos is not because you want to build a recruitment agency, but it's because you want to put yourself in the shoes of a recruitment agency owner. And you want to understand how that business model works, how to make money, how they typically reach out to clients, to customers, and what their sales process looks like. So as an example, I put into my YouTube search, how to start a recruitment agency. And this is literally the page that I see, right? There's so many different YouTube videos talking about how to build a staffing and recruitment agency. What I would suggest is watching a couple of these. So for example, maybe this first one is 30 minutes long. Watch through this video and see what this guy is saying, right? Watch this video, just spend a couple minutes. You can even put this video at 2x speed if you need to, because you don't even need to understand the details. You just want to understand at a high level how people would think if they're doing a recruitment agency. Or if you choose SaaS, software companies, search up how to start a SaaS in 2024, how to start a marketing agency in 2024, and watch through 2 or 3 different videos until you feel like you understand at a high level how to actually start that type of business, the type of problems that people have, the type of problems that they solve, what services they sell, how they typically reach out to people, get clients, get customers, that type of thing. Very straightforward. Once you finish watching the YouTube videos so that you understand how the actual business model works, your very next step is join different Facebook groups. So over here, this is my Facebook. And this is a Facebook group that I found. It's a recruitment and staffing firm Facebook group, right? The relevant recruiter for recruiting, staffing, and executive search firms. And I actually joined this group because when I was first starting out the process, when I was first starting my own lead generation agency, this is the exact step that I took. And the reason why you want to join these Facebook groups is, again, so you can conduct a little bit more research. This is even better than the YouTube videos because there's 4,800 people, members inside this Facebook group. And the vast majority of these people are probably people who run recruitment agencies or people looking to start recruitment agency. So you want to join these groups, and the reason why is because you just want to scroll through the Facebook group a little bit and see the type of things that people are talking about, right? You want to get some ideas as to some of the common problems people have, because if these recruitment agencies, they have a problem, one of the first places, the first resources that they'll leverage are recruitment agency groups, because they want to get the answers from all the other people running a recruitment agency, right? So make sure you scroll through this list and you just look at the type of posts that people are making, the type of comments, the type of questions that people are asking, right? So as an example, what we're looking for is, especially if you're selling lead generation service, you might want to see what people are doing to generate leads. So you can literally search stuff like business development, and you want to see what people are asking for, right? So there's people, this guy did a training on business development. There's probably a reason why Donnie, this guy, he is doing a business development workshop, is because people are, struggling with this. So business development is lead generation. This guy has a couple of questions about marketing and business development. And for recruiting and search firms is changing the traditional model of business development. So you just want to read through kind of these groups. And there's always a couple of these groups. So whatever industry you're choosing, more likely than not, there's numerous different Facebook groups. This is just as an example as a recruitment agency. And what you want to do is spend 20, 30 minutes just browsing through these Facebook groups until you understand. And if you're seeing the same type of questions being asked, so if you see a bunch of people asking about what is the best way to do leads, what's the best way to do cold emails, then you know it's a common question. So I'm just going to search up cold email and let's see what shows up, right? So there's people, this is the guy who runs Instantly. Has anyone ever used Apollo? Questions about effective marketing. There's just a lot of different questions, right? And this one has 6 comments. There's probably a better Facebook group than this one, right? That's a little bit more active because this one does look a little bit dead. But the main idea is you want to see what people are saying so that you understand what that looks like. If you have any questions about picking a niche, picking your niche specific to the industry that you're choosing, you can also search that. So for example, if you're unsure, for example, recruitment agencies, you're unsure what contingency means, you can search it, contingency. I spelled it wrong. Contingency. And then you can see what people are saying, right? These people are all talking about contingency because we put it in the search term. And this is the process that I personally use in order to pick my niche, in order to do research. And this is the one that you need to be doing as well before you pick your niche for your own lead generation agency. So that's basically what you want to do in order to pick a niche for your own lead generation agency. Now, after you've done that research, we move on to step 5, which is choosing your winning niche and the one you should be focusing on. Because the goal, the name of the game, is again to be relevant, and you'll only be able to do that by picking one niche and working with one group of people, one type of industry at one single time. So after researching a few niches, you should have a clear idea of how that niche works, and all you need to do is pick one niche to focus on to start sending cold emails to. And when you do this, you're probably gonna feel not ready. You're gonna feel a little bit uncertain, maybe a little bit anxious, but the truth is you just need to pick one niche, because a common problem, a common mistake that people make is picking multiple niches to reach out to. And you have to remember that if you're going to pick 2 niches at the same time, what will happen is your attention and focus will be pulled in 2 different directions. Your attention and focus will be diluted, and you just won't end up getting any results in either of those 2 niches because you're not able to focus on one specific type of person. So make sure you pick one niche. I cannot stress this enough. So here's some final thoughts. Finding the right niche for your lead generation agency doesn't have to be complicated. Start by leveraging your own strengths, brainstorm broad business categories, and narrow them down based on market demand and test them through outreach. That's the name of the game. One of the best parts about selling lead generation as a service, about selling cold emails, helping businesses book sales calls, using cold emails is this applies to just so many different niches. That's why earlier in the list, I have experience selling to all of those niches because all of them need more customers. They all need more sales calls. Every business needs more leads. And I've personally worked with probably 10 plus different niches up until now. And my point being is every niche works as long as you're able to speak to them specifically by understanding their current situation, the pain points, the problems, and you're able to position your offer as something that is specific towards them. So that's pretty much it for today's video. If you found this video valuable, make sure you drop me a like, make sure you drop me a subscribe, make sure you share this video with someone else who you think could watch this video and gain value from it. Now, the first link in the description is a link to work with me, where I will work with you to help you start your own lead generation agency and scale it to $10,000 per month in the next 90 days. It's a one-on-one consulting program. It's not a course, it's a consulting program where I will work with you. I will literally help you write your cold email campaigns, put together your VSL, review your sales calls, and help you start and scale your lead generation agency to $10,000 per month in the next 90 days. Now, the second link in the description below is a link to a full step-by-step free lead generation agency course that I recently put together on YouTube. It goes over everything you need to know to actually start your own lead generation agency if you want to go out and do it on your own. But that's pretty much it for today's video. Hope you liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.